How's it going, everybody? This is Jonathan from the Search Specialist. Today, we're going to talk about Geo-Grids and what those are. Some people are unfamiliar with those, which makes sense. If you're not like in the online marketing world, you may have seen them, you may not really work with them or know how they work, essentially. So, Geo-Grids are the things where you may have seen, a map, and then it'll have like pins around the map, and it will show reds and greens, and it shows you where you're showing up in your local area for your business. So whether you're a stationary business, where you have an actual brick and mortar store, or you're a home service business, it just kind of shows you how people are able to find you and from what distance. For some people, it'll show like just right above where their office is, maybe a block or two away, and that's it. That's how you're found in Google Maps, when people search for you. So if people are driving by literally with their phones looking for a certain product or service or whatever it is, as they're passing through, if you're not, showing up pretty well, as they're passing down the block, they may find you. And then like 2 blocks later, you may not be in those maps anymore. And so what people like me do is help individuals and businesses show up further around in those maps, essentially. So I'll show you an example of what that is now. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you real quick so we can take a look at that, and you'll be able to understand a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So give me a second here. It's good information, especially if you own a company. You want to make sure that you're able to show up everywhere you can. So I'm just going to hide these controls, and we're going to go ahead and show you an example of what that is, essentially. So this is actually a real example of a real person that I've worked with, and they just kind of showed up here. And so when you're looking at these numbers here, numbers 1, 2, and 3 are what shows up in Google Maps. As you can see, it's usually a 3-pack, they call it. Sometimes there'll be like a 4-pack if someone's advertising, paid advertising, and they're showing up above that, which isn't a bad idea, by the way, if you're looking to show up, and get your phone to ring, over your competitors. So for this individual here, they were showing up right over their office and maybe a little bit over here. I think this is kind of a mountainous area, but the rest of it was showing 20 plus. So when you're in the Google Maps, you're seeing 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 20 plus, which means you're not visible at all. Those you have to go to the second page of the maps, which is kind of like going to the second page of Google. It doesn't really make sense, because everyone knows that people don't usually go onto the second page at all. And so what you want essentially is to be able to change that, to change these greens and well, not change the greens, but change, the yellows and the oranges and the reds to greens. That's the goal, because now people all around the area are able to find you, from whatever keywords they're typing in. In this case, it's chiropractor. Luckily for this one, we were actually able to help them out in 2 months. We were able to change those Geo-Grids, which is cool. So if you do the work right, it does work. There's another Geo-Grid here where they were showing nowhere at all. And this was someone in Texas, and then they started to show up, a little bit later. And what that has to do with essentially is optimization, being able to optimize your website to show up, on the first page of Google for particular keywords, like this one here as well. This one's in Los Angeles, where I'm originally from, well, Orange County, but still, and they showed up like right over just their office area and nothing. And then we were able to change their Geo-Grids to show, in other places. So as a real world example here also, there's somebody that we've worked with before who was showing up here in Atlanta, just above their office. We talked about the goal is to show up all over in the area. And it depends on the type of niche that you're in, and also where you're located and how many competitors you have. And that depends on how long it takes to be able to get this done. But we were able to do pretty good work with them, because this company was around for a long time, but never really had any SEO done. And so we were able to change that. So this was the next month. So you can kind of see, okay, things are changing a little bit. They're showing up a little bit more. Then the next month after that, you could see how it changed quite a bit. So that's essentially, what Geo-Grids are. So how do we change these things? Basically, what we're able to do is do optimization. You're able to optimize their website, their Google business profile, as well as creating links from other places on the internet pointed toward their site, brand building around the area, that sort of thing. And all of a sudden, Google says, okay, well, this business must be pretty relevant for this particular keyword. And if it's relevant, then they start to change those geogrids. You can also link to the actual Google business profile. And there's all kinds of tips and tricks and techniques and things like that. So that's what geogrids are. Very simple. Just a quick video about that. If you're looking to have your geogrids change, or even have someone take a look at them, in the link in the video below, you're going to have a link to a form where you can fill out. We'll go ahead and send you a free snapshot, just kind of show you what it looks like. So if you have a company that's established, you may want to get more exposure, get more leads, get more traffic, get more calls. Feel free to fill that out. We'll be happy to go ahead and send it over to you. All right. So thank you very much for your time, you guys. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.